is one of the latest and fast-growing trends in business. Now, once we say supply chain is the chain, okay, that the company use in order to send the product to the customers in the market, okay? So once we talk about it now, in terms of internationalization, means it's about actually the different chains actually that happens in different countries that we can use effectively and efficiently in order to send or to deliver our product to the customers. Okay. Now we will start with a question. Actually, this is the question. Okay, hopefully. Okay. Okay. So we will have an example. Okay, and inshallah we will try to figure out. Okay. The journey of tennis balls. Okay, the journey of tennis balls. The question is what? You know, the tennis balls that players use. Okay. The question is how far does a tennis ball travel when it's made? Really? Is it? You know, we are talking actually about the tennis ball that they use in games such as Wimbledon and different things. Okay. They said here one of the world's most famous tennis actually tournaments, the Wimbledon, right? The Wimbledon Championships that occurs in London each July. I think most of you are aware of this kind of tournament. Okay. Let's focus here. Oh, yeah. So this is actually, this is the ingredients that you need to use or to have in order to produce what? The tennis ball. So now we are talking about what? The tennis ball that you need to use in the Wimbledon, right? Championship. So this is actually the ingredients or the raw materials of the tennis ball, okay, which is about clay and the wool and the felt weaving. Let me actually maximize it. Okay. Felt weaving, naphthalene, sulfur, magnesium carbonate.
هذا المول سام سيتي سنتر الفطور عندهم كتير. هاي هي خالته.
شوفيها
هاي في لبس.
Hello guys.
شفت زينب. أنا شفت.
Oh my God. Okay. Take care. Okay, back to our topic. So actually, we were talking about the ingredients or the elements, okay, of the tennis ball, and I told you these actually the ingredients that you need in order to produce, okay, the tennis ball. These such as silica, zinc, oxide, glue, rubber packaging, and such. Now, as you can see, guys, okay, the game actually where in London, right? It's in Wimbledon, right? In London, fine. So this is the place where I will use the tennis ball. Like how actually that tennis ball will reach the Wimbledon. That's the question now. As you can see, we need clay. Okay, from where? From America. Okay. Okay. Let me read for you this one. They said actually the manufacturer called Slasinger used to make the balls, the tennis balls, in a factory, okay, in Barnsley, in London, I think, yeah, in England. In 2012, okay, this producer or manufacturer, Slasinger, decided to move actually the manufacturing process offshore. Okay, offshore means outside the country, not in London. So they will start producing the tennis ball not in London, but actually in other countries. And more specifically, it is in Bataan, in Philippines. Okay, so let's continue. This actually drastically changed the geographic spread of the supply chain. Because remember, if you produce in London, okay, this means you will have the ingredients from different countries, okay, or from UK itself, and you will try to produce your tennis ball. But now you change your actually decision in order to produce it in another place or other places, not even sometimes one. And that decision was to manufacture the tennis ball in Philippines. Okay. Now, why we will talk why later. Okay, maybe because cheaper labor cost, cheaper cost of ingredients. It depends on why. So this process actually increased what the distance, the components. Okay, these the components, right? The components travel before reach the Wimbledon, London or England, right? Back to here. So now we understand if you need to produce a tennis ball, you need these ingredients, okay? Now, from where you need to have these ingredients, for example, the clay from United States. Okay, once you have the clay from United States, we will send where? To England or to Bataan? Bataan, because we produce it in Philippines, right? So, okay, that's the answer here. So, how far does the tennis ball travel when it's made? So, the first ingredient, the clay itself, is about 8,710 miles, okay, to reach the destination or the factory in Philippines. Okay, and such others, the wool, the felt weaving, naphthalene, sulfur, and such. It's the same. So, as you can see. For example, the wool from New Zealand, okay? Then you will actually send it where? To UK, because you will do the process in UK, this process in terms of wool. What about the felt weaving? You will have it from UK, but you will send it to Batam, okay? The naphthalene from China, the sulfur from South Korea, the magnesium from Japan, the silica from Greece, zinc oxide from Thailand, glue from Philippines also, rubber from some rubber from Malaysia, other rubber from actually also Philippines. Packaging in Indonesia, the finished product will be where, because we send all the ingredients, we send almost where? To Philippines. So they will produce it in Philippines, right? Once we finish producing the tennis ball, we'll send where? To London, right? Because this is where I need to use it, right? In Wimbledon. So this is actually, we can see here, the manufacturing, as you can see here, okay? Still, we are talking about the same question: how far does a tennis ball travel when it's made? As you can see, okay, we need to have different ingredients, right, to produce the tennis ball from different countries, right? So we will send these ingredients, okay, which is from UK, from New Zealand, from America, from UK, from China, from South Korea, from Japan, from Greece, from Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines. We will send all to Philippines, right? Then we will produce it in Philippines. Fine. Once we produce it, we will send it where? To London, right? Why? Because this is where we play, right? So you can read it, just information. As you can see in the figure, okay, 3.1, the total journey distance is over 50,000 miles, around 80,000 kilometers. Oh my God, it's a lot, right? So this is actually where you can imagine, the internationalization supply chain, okay? We need to control your chain in order to produce and send your final product to customer effectively. So the long journey taken, for example, for the wool, okay? The long journey taken by the wool from New Zealand to Bataan, Philippines, okay? This actually show you the example about the supply chain and how you need to plan your supply chain effectively in order to produce the product effectively and send it to your customer efficiently. Uh, just, just the words here, no problem. They said in theory that internationalization should lead to better sourcing. Okay. Uh-huh. And this means why the company? Okay, I think the name of the company was Slazenger, right? Why would the Slazenger, for example, produce the tennis ball in Philippines? A question, why? Because they think maybe producing the product in Philippines is better. Why it's better? Because maybe better actually cost, maybe cheaper cost, maybe little taxes, maybe more actually professional workers. So you have many factors. So that's why we say the internationalization actually we used in order to have better product, right? Let's read. So this can lead to better sourcing, okay, advantages through location, being near to the customer, improvement through better supply networks, and exposure to international competition that encourage innovation and improvement. So that's why we chose a specific country because of the advantages that I can use, okay, in that country, and also how that actually process will help us to be more innovative in the market, for example. So that's it. طيب. So once يعني let's say in summary, if we need to summarize what we have here in this 10 slide, actually it was talking about how the companies will choose their supply chain in order to have the product done and send it to customer in the market. So this is actually just example about one specific product, which is tennis ball. You can have any other example, okay? You can have any other example, not just the tennis ball. But this is just a nice example because each ingredient from different country, you know. But why we bought it from the clay from United? Why we bought the wool from New Zealand? Why? Who can tell me why? Or why the silk weaving in UK? Why the nectarine in China? Why? Because we think maybe this is a better quality, okay, or it's actually has a good price, maybe. So this is actually the criteria that you need to use to choose the country that you need to get the raw materials from, okay? I'm sure you can find the clay in different countries, right? For sure, 100%. The wool also the same. But why you chose USA? Why you chose New Zealand for this item or for this ingredient? Because you think this is a better quality, or maybe because it's actually having a better price. It depends on. So this is actually the point of these about 10 slides to show you how the companies will choose specific suppliers, right, for their ingredients based on their specific criteria to choose or of choice. Any question? Here, as you can see, guys, do you remember the model we have actually explained before about that we have inputs, right? Then we have the process, then we have the output, right? So the input, including actually the raw materials that you need to have, right? Then you need to process these ingredients in order to finish what the product and send it to the customer. So this is actually a nice model, help you to understand this actually definition. Once you need for example, the tennis ball, you need what? You need the ingredients, right? So why would you choose specific ingredients from specific countries? Because maybe there are pressures for low cost sourcing. So you are searching to find, let's say, suppliers can give you a better price, maybe, or maybe because the people working in China, okay, are let's say are considered cheap, okay, so you can have lower cost labor, for example, or whatever the reason you have or the criteria you have that push you or actually direct the company to choose a specific item from specific country. Then you need to understand how to make the product, okay, how to manufacture it. Is it to have economy of scale and economy of scope, or is it about customization? So once I talk about economies of scale and economies of scope, we actually means about what? We means about standardized. Okay. So you need to have the same ingredient, okay, and the same product for all markets or different markets. But once we talk about customization, no, it's a different scenario. Here you may actually modify the product in order to match the Saudi market or to match the Syrian market or to match the Iraqi market, right? Depends on the market. So you will change. So do you need customization or you need standardization? A question. You can answer it once you have the information, right? Then you have the output, okay, for the product that you need to send to customer. Fine. There is here a question you need to go to. It's like activity, okay? They said go to greeting 3. You need to go, okay? Then ask you, does Michael Dell know? Okay, so please read the case from the book. Then you can answer the following question: why did Dell move their call center abroad first? Okay, so many companies actually do this activity. We call it sometimes what? Outsourcing, right? Outsourcing or offshore means you depend on, or you move actually your production activity to another country, okay, maybe to China or maybe to Europe or maybe to Philippines, for example, because you want to take advantage of the prices there, take advantage of the availability of the resources, take advantage of the lower taxes scheme. So it depends on it, right? So you can answer this question once you read actually the case. So I answer it in general. Okay. So now we need to understand the offshoring, okay, and reshoring. Okay. Remember, any question, guys? By the way, we just take in simple words, we take the tennis ball as example to show you, okay, that each ingredient of the tennis ball comes from which country. That's the point that we need you to understand, okay? Any question? No?
With you, doctor, but I think you are half bored or like that. I think you are tired or something.
Why?
It's not your way, actually.
Yes,
I think you feel boring like that.
It's not my way, you're right, but it is right. It is because take a look here. Can you see the number?
No falafel today, huh?
No. I will bring falafel, but can you see the number here? Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's 40 slides.
Oh.
So I thought I need to, let's say, explain it in a fast way in order to manage to reach the 40. That's why. What's your name, by the way?
Ammar, doctor.
Ammar. That's why I am not me today, because I cannot talk a lot. I need to manage to read and finish the slides. That's why maybe I use different style today. But
No.
I told you, the first 10 slides, it's about just example to show you, okay, how you can have ingredients of the tennis ball from different countries, okay? That's why you just saying something. You can read it and easily understand it. So then now we can talk here, yeah, Ammar, about the offshoring and reshoring. Okay. Now once you talk about offshoring, we means moving. Okay, moving what? Moving the company business or the company actually production, or some, maybe all or some of the production, okay, activities or facilities to another country. Why I have done this? Because maybe, as I said before, maybe I can find better price. Maybe there are more resources. Maybe I can find cheaper labor cost, cheaper labor, professional labor also. Not only about the price. Maybe also it's about the skills that they have. Maybe because, which is very important, the taxes. By the way, sometimes you pay nothing in some countries, right? Almost you pay nothing. Literally, you are paying nothing. Okay, but you need to offer some employment jobs to the people of that country. That's it. So that's why we use the offshoring or the actually outsourcing. So while banks and other services move more toward internationally based call centers. Now sometimes you call Ya Ammar the bank, okay? Your bank, and somebody take your call. Sometimes the one who actually respond to you, he's not from Saudi Arabia. You know that? Sometimes maybe he's from Philippines or from Egypt or from Jordan or from Emirates. Okay, so we use this service. Okay, so that's why we call it offshoring. Okay, so while banks and other services move more towards internationally based call centers, manufacturing operations have also increased the scale and the extent of their own international supply chain. Already we have mentioned that, and the example about tennis ball actually was clear enough. Okay, they said here, okay, Mr. I believe Monchza and Trent identify four pattern for manufacturing network. So we can call it four phases or four stages or four steps, no problem. So now we will discuss these phases of, let's say, sourcing. Yeah, we can say sourcing. Okay. Okay. So the first one is domestic sourcing. نرجع. Okay, back to Ammar example, who likes a lot falafel. Okay, no problem. I will get back to my regular example. So domestic sourcing, okay, this is actually when the companies, okay, start up the, for the companies, specifically for small companies, okay, they buy the product from the local market. Okay, that's the point. So domestic sourcing, so you have the ingredients of your products you produce from the market itself. Okay, يعني if you are working in Saudi Arabia, you will try to buy everything you need to produce falafel from where, Ya Ammar? From where you buy it? From Saudi. Okay, that's why we call it domestic or local sourcing. So you buy all ingredients from the local market. If you are working in Saudi Arabia, so you will try to buy everything from Saudi Arabia. But doctor, maybe I need some item from outside, maybe from Britain. Okay, you might buy it, but you will not buy it directly. You will buy it indirectly through the intermediaries. Maybe you will buy it from Hyperbanda or from Al-Utain or from big retailers, okay, or wholesalers.
That stores get the international materials or something like that.
Yeah, but you will not generally, you will not have direct connection. Okay, Hyperbanda will buy it from Britain, but you will buy it from where? From Hyperbanda, for example.
Local, yeah.
But generally, you will try to buy everything from local. So when a company starts up, they often tend to source where? Locally, okay, where possible. Why they do that? Because for specific reasons. For example, for ease of control. Okay, so they can control because the supplier already in Saudi Arabia. If you have any problem with the supplier, you can go to him. You can call him. Okay, and you can go and discuss different issues with him. Right. This is one thing. And lack of complexity. Okay, so you don't need to have conflict situation. Okay, that's why you need to have the supplier from local market or actually in the domestic. So they say here there is no active sourcing from where? From outside suppliers. Again, there is no active sourcing from offshore suppliers or external suppliers, different countries. Okay, we are talking about the suppliers in different countries, no suppliers from different countries. And any goods made abroad, for example in Britain, are often purchased indirectly through what? Intermediaries, like what? Hyperbanda, Al-Utaim. Okay, generally you don't have direct relationship. Okay, that's the first stage. We call it domestic sourcing. Okay, okay, Ammar.
Okay, doctor.
Okay, thank you, Ammar.
Thank you.
We have 21. Okay. The second phase or stage, we call it the reactive international sourcing. The reactive international sourcing. Yalla. In some situations or cases, there may be a lack of domestic supply of the raw materials. You want to buy the item from the Saudi market, okay? You want to buy it, but unfortunately you cannot find. Okay, because you cannot find it in the Saudi market. This will force you, right? So forcing some international purchasing because you cannot find it, okay, in the local market. Then you start thinking, you know what? I will buy it from outside. Okay, that's the point. It's reactive because you don't have the item in the market. So forcing some companies actually to buy it from what? International market. Now, in some cases, there may be issues with domestic. Maybe domestic, they have your item, okay? You can have it from domestic market, from local market. But the problem, their performance is not good, not satisfying. So this will make you like you are, or you need actually to buy it from another country to have direct relationship actually with your supplier from outside or from abroad. Okay, remember, domestic, so all items from the local market. Okay, reactive international sourcing means you cannot find some of the items or some of the ingredients you want or the raw materials. So that's why this will push you to buy from maybe another country. Or maybe there is some supplier or there are some suppliers, but actually you are not happy with their quality or you are not happy with their performance, okay, or feature. Or maybe they don't know how to market actually professionally, for example. So that's why you think, you know what, I will go abroad and buy it from UK or from Germany or wherever. The third type, or the stage number 3, it is about proactive international sourcing. Here, actually, more sophisticated because it is more complex, right? Because you are dealing with different countries now. More sophisticated purchasing practices help develop a wider supply chain with better prices. Now, this is why you go abroad. Okay, this is why you go abroad. Better prices, maybe better prices and better quality. Okay, can be found actually abroad. This is now much more awareness of the opportunities for the price. Okay, reduction. That's why now you have a plan. Okay, I will buy this item, like the tennis balls, the wool, for example, from UK, New Zealand, sorry. I think the magnesium from what? I forgot. Okay, suppose Germany. The felt weaving, for example, in UK. So you will decide now which country to buy item from according to your criteria. The prices, maybe to reduce the price or to reduce the cost, or maybe to improve the quality, or for example, to achieve another actually goal. Finally, this is called the global sourcing network. This is, inshallah, will be discussed next, so we can wait. But generally, it's actually it's the case where the manufacturer, okay, like the company that produce tennis ball, or any other company produce cars, or company produce cars, for example, and the suppliers work together. Because now the relationship is more important, okay, and we rely on the suppliers. So I need to have a long-term relationship with my suppliers and to have long-term agreements, okay, in order to work together, because the company that produce car, okay, actually depends, right, on different suppliers, maybe to supply the tires, supply the glasses, I don't know, the most important thing you can have from different companies, right? So that's why you feel it's more important actually to handle this relationship in the long run. But anyway, we will talk later about that. So this is the 4 stages or the 4 phases regarding the sourcing. And once we say outsourcing, remember, once I say outsourcing means outside sourcing, okay? Once you see outsourcing, we are talking about actually what? The outside, you see, outsource. Outsource means outside sources, okay? Or offshoring. So you means, outsource means outside sources. You need to have the product from what? From another country, okay? Offshoring, you may move your production, okay, to another country, okay. So outsourcing means you can actually depend on another company to have your raw materials or your ingredients. Remember that. Okay. Here actually also talk about Lego. So there is example or case study in your book. You can read it and you can answer these questions. Okay. Even here they talk about the lesson learned from the Lego, so you can read. Okay, guys? It's just a case study in your book. You can read and you can answer. طيب. We reach now here. Very easy. We have actually, we'll talk about the international operation strategies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have actually 4 strategies, okay? Before that, before I move on and explain the strategies one by one, I need to ask you if you have any question. By the way, it is a lot of slides, but by the way, the most important thing is the meaning, okay? So as you can see, maybe the first 10 slides talking about just the example about how to produce the tennis ball and actually how many countries you will depend on in order to do that, right? This is actually what the 10 slides talk about. Then we talk actually about the offshoring, right? And most important thing here, we explain the 4 stages, which is first domestic sourcing. You can find the items from the market, local market. Then reactive, because you cannot find it in the local market, you will buy it from outside. Then actually proactive. So it's here not because you don't find it, actually you are searching and you are continuously searching to find a better quality and better price, and all the time do that as a rule in your company. Then the global sourcing networks, because we are talking about important items and we need to focus on the long-term relationship between the manufacturer and suppliers, because together we can make the product effectively, for example. So now this is just a case study you need to read. Okay. Now we need to explain the strategies. So any question before I move on? Any question?
Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you. What's your name?
Ashraf.
Okay, Ashraf. Thank you, Ashraf. Okay, I remember something, but we can explain later. Not later, maybe we need to explain. طيب, just let me stop sharing just a minute. I'm searching for a file because I need to explain to you, but where is it? Submission quality, no. Oh, okay, this one. Team of penalties. Okay. Here again. Okay, open. See the screen, Ammar and Ashraf?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, fine. We, inshallah, at the end, we will explain this, okay? So remind me, Ammar, remind me, Ashraf, to explain to you the theme of penalties, okay? Remember. Right. Now we back to the strategies, okay? So we have four, I think, four strategies, right? Okay. The first strategy, let me, okay, we can see. Home country operation with export. It's clear, right? Home country operation with export. Example. The traditional approach is to have a large domestic operation. So actually you depend on your what? Market, local market. Okay. You have a huge, large, you can say huge domestic operation that exports product overseas. So you do it in one country and export it to another country, right? In the fully produced form. In service, it's about service. It's about delivery is achieved using staff based at domestic operation via phone or email. Like one by one. So here actually at this kind of strategy, you produce where in Saudi market, okay? So your main operation where in Saudi market. And what you do, you export what you produce to other countries. Maybe you do it in Saudi market and sell it or export it to Emirates, to Oman, to Kuwait, for example. So this is very easy, actually, a strategy. We call it home country operation with export. So you do it for your market and for other markets, right? This is the first strategy sometimes the company use, okay? The second one is multi-domestic operation. So here you produce in Saudi Arabia and you sell it where you sell your item in the Saudi market, right? And also to different countries, okay? What we call it home country operation. Come here now. Multi-domestic operation. Not only in Saudi Arabia, let's read. Sometimes companies will set up separate self-contained operation in each country where they work. So, for example, Al-Mara'i has, for example, I'm saying, has a factory in Saudi Arabia. And maybe if Mara'i wants to go Emirates, maybe will build a factory, okay? This is one strategy. You can use this, you can use the first one, about you can choose, okay? So here you will have different factories in different countries. That's why we call it multi-domestic operation. In Emirates, we will have a factory. In Saudi Arabia, we'll have another factory. In Oman, another factory, okay? So each country with actually another factory. So sometimes companies will set up separate self-contained operation in each country where they work. This may be due to what? To extreme differences in the market characteristics. Maybe if I need to go to Emirates, they say that you need to have your factory here. So maybe it's by law, okay? So I should do that, okay? Or maybe it's because you are dealing with different tastes or different language, okay? So maybe you are a Saudi company in Saudi Arabia, But if you need to if you need to have business with America, you might think about having another factory because maybe you need to check their taste and their preferences and make the products according to their taste, for example. So they say here in the market characteristics or practical, okay, reasons such as language problems, okay. Now, the downside or the disadvantage is that many support functions have to be duplicated. Yes, that's why, because already you have a company in America, you will duplicate many of the activities. Like what? A different management function, different, the business function. We are talking about what marketing, we are talking about HR, human resource management, we're talking about finance and accounting and operation, right? And actually, also, you have some other activities you need to use in order to produce your product. So that's why sometimes you don't feel like you want to have, okay? But remember, this option could be good at a specific situation, okay? So if you can do it from Saudi Arabia and sell it, somebody needs to close the mic, guys. Who is the person? Okay. So, if you can do it, if you can use this strategy, is very good. Why? Because you will reduce it, okay, in a big quantity. That's why we say economy of scale. Economy of scale means what? Because you are producing a lot of items, okay, this means your cost will be less, okay? Because it's about variable cost and fixed cost. Maybe you got this one in accounting or something. So we like to have this strategy, but sometimes you cannot have it. That's why sometimes you need to use this strategy to have different factories actually in different countries. Guys, somebody please close the mic. What's that? Who's that person? Who can tell me the name of the person who has a mic?
So what's the difference between multi-buy, domestic and wholesale?
God. Wallahi, ya Khairi, I cannot hear your voice clearly. You can write. Khairiya, write your question, I will answer it. Maybe you have a problem here in your place. I cannot hear well. خيرية خلاص, no need to try your actually mic. Just wait. Maybe we can check later on. Okay. So this is I don't know if I understand your question, but I think I got your question. Home country operation means, yeah, Khairiya, the factory, okay, in Saudi Arabia, and you produce to whom? To customer in Saudi Arabia, and also you sell your item to different countries, okay? You sell to Oman, you sell to Saudi Arabia, Emirates, sorry, to Jordan. This is home country with exports. Now here, Khairiya, you have you have a factory in Saudi Arabia, and you have another factory in Egypt. You have another factory in Syria. So each country has different factory. Okay, maybe. Now, which one is better? It depends on. Maybe this is the better choice based on the regulation. Okay, so it depends on. Right. Now we come here. Regional operation. So it's not country now, it's the region. Okay, okay. It's not the country, it's the region. Oh my God. عبد الله أنا عندي محاضرة يا غالي، الله يرضى عليك. ماشي؟ السلام عليكم. عندي محاضرة. يا مرة يا رجال. شاب متحمس فمش قادر يسمعني. اوكي. Okay, yes. Do you hear me, guys?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Oh my God, the mics today not good with you guys. طيب, now we are not talking about a factory for each country. No, it's about the region itself, like GCC, right? Like Europe. So to achieve a balance between local specialization, okay, and economies of scale. Remember of the economy of scale I told you? I told you the economy of scale means what? You produce, like this strategy will help you to achieve the economy of scale. Why? Because here you have one factory and produce for how many countries? Maybe 3 countries, 4 countries with to the market, right? So this means you will produce more items. And remember, this is a rule. If you produce more, this means you will be able to reduce your cost, okay? So here we cannot have it generally, the economy of scale. So here they was thinking, you know what? What about have some midpoint, okay? Some actually in-between strategy. It's not totally home country, it's not totally multi-domestic operation. What about regional operation? So to achieve balance between specialization and economy of scale, many organizations have operation in each region, not in each country now, in each region. Maybe one factory for North America, maybe one factory for Australia. We can call Australia generally as a region. One factory in the GCC, maybe in Saudi Arabia or Emirates. Okay, maybe one factory in Western of Europe, for example. So it depends on the region, okay, that you need to serve or market. So this is also a good choice you can use in order to achieve the economy of scale, and also what people like. Why? Because generally the people in Gulf region, they have what? Different taste or similar taste? Yalla, you answer me. Generally
Similar taste.
Different.
similar. So there is no need to make كبسة for يعني specific كبسة for yeah, forget كبسة it's exception. I mean here, for example, McDonald's, okay? If I need to make some McDonald's, the McDonald's you sell generally in Saudi Arabia and in Emirates is the same, right? Because the same taste, okay? But if you need to go to, for example, India, okay, maybe you need to consider have specific consideration of their taste, because they have maybe different taste now, right? You need to change. So you might actually be obligated to have a factory, for example, in India. Okay? So that's the point of regional operation. I think this is finally global coordinated operation. Like, let's read. A truly international operation may have facilities in many countries and operate in most regions. Again, a truly international operation may have facilities in many countries and operate in most regions. However, there is a lot of transfer of goods and services across country or regional boundaries. Okay, why? Companies will export their products why I will export from Saudi Arabia to other markets. Okay, let's read. Companies will export their products and services when local demand is lower, maybe in Saudi market, okay? But overseas demand in Emirates, okay, is higher than the nearest facility can cope with it itself. Example, suppose you have a factory in Saudi Arabia, okay? And you have a factory in Emirates, okay? Now, this factory produce what? Cars, for example. Okay, cars. Now, Ammar, if I said falafel, he will tell me, Doctor, haram falafel. It's a lot now. So forget falafel. Cars. Suppose.
Hungry already.
Already fell. Okay. So suppose, ya Ammar, you are producing here in the Saudi market 100 cars. How many cars? 100. Okay. Maybe demand in the Saudi market 80. So how many cars left? 20, right? So suppose in Emirates they produce 50 and the demand was 70. So what they need to do now? They need to have items from different places, right? Because they cannot produce it now. their maximum is 50. That's the maximum they can do in a year, for example, okay? So now there is shortage, right? Because the market needs 70 and they can produce what? 50. So they need 20. So we'll ask Saudi market, can you give us the other 20? Saudi market will say, yes, I can, because already I can produce 100 and already I sold 80, but still we have 20. So I will send the 20 where? To Emirates, okay? Another example, suppose
But
this
that
is...
like orders, something like that, yeah?
Hmm?
For the same company in international places like that, if I have list of my order, I can ask about another order in another country.
And now we are talking about specific company, right? We are talking about
Mhm.
company using specific car, for example. Now it's the
Mhm.
same company, but the issue here, I have a factory in Saudi Arabia, I have a factory in Emirates. Now they
Yeah.
have a plan production. Why Saudi Arabia produce 100? For sure they have some forecast, right? But
Yes.
for one reason or another, like Corona or any other problem or economic problem, so for some reason, the demand was not high. So what to do? So I will check if I can deliver these items to another customers. So if there is already demand in another country, so we can send it to that country. In not in general cases. This is only if that country cannot handle. Okay? يعني Emirates said I can produce 50, only 50 in the year. But the market needs how many? 70. So, but there is extra 20 from where I can have. Emirates factory cannot have it now. If Emirates factory can produce the 20, the right thing is the Emirates, okay? But now Emirates, the factory in Emirates said, well, I cannot produce. So that's why they asked Saudi company. Now maybe Saudi said, no, I cannot. So I will call home Oman, for example. Maybe Oman said, I'm so sorry, I cannot. Maybe in this case you would ask Kuwait, okay? If you can find in Kuwait, you will take it from Kuwait. Very simple. By the way, not only the countries, sometimes the regions. Like what? For example, this is JCC. Suppose you are produced, we are talking about, I'm giving you examples, okay? Maybe it's not reflect the fact, but just example to understand. Suppose LG, okay, we're talking about LG company. Suppose we have office in GCC, okay? And we have office in Europe, okay? And we have office in Asia, okay? Sometimes, maybe, okay? Maybe South, yeah, different, in Asia, it's big place, right? So we can have maybe 4 regional offices, for example. Suppose we are talking about Asia, okay? So maybe if you have a problem in GCC because the demand is high in the GCC for the TV screens, for example, so they may actually ask what other branch or other regional branch, for example, in Indonesia, or another branch, for example, in west of Asia. Okay, so you can ask them if they have extra item, okay, from specific brand or sort of a specific model, okay, you want. So you can help each other. That's why it's what? Coordinated operation. So you coordinate with other branches, with other countries in order to satisfy your customer or to satisfy the market needs. Okay? So that's why they said here companies will export their product and services when local demand is lower, okay, than the expectation. But the overseas demand, maybe in the demand in Emirates, is higher than the expectation, okay? The higher than what? Actually, the nearest facility can cope with it. So Emirates cannot produce it. That's why we asked Saudi market to send us the item, okay? In some cases, each facility will specialize with what they produce, and they will be transfer of goods continually into every market. They said sometimes we have other cases where we can have like a specialization. So maybe Saudi Arabia produced the screen, maybe Emirates produced the audio devices, Maybe Pakistan do, for example, some other TV systems. So we may sometimes make each country specialize in specific item or specific component, okay? Because of many reasons, because of the cost, because of the quality, because of the sources, depends on, or taxes even. So this is actually the fourth strategy, which called global coordinated operation. Any question?
Thank you.
It's clear.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay. So,
Doctor, you ask us about, reminder you about, think you.
okay, we have time. We have time. Let's consider 130, for example. They said the facility location, where to have your facility or your factory. They said actually you have two important questions. First, which country would be the best to locate in to serve particular region? And for example, if you need to serve the GCC, okay, which country is considered the best to have your factory in? Maybe generally Saudi market, right? Why? Why we may choose Saudi market? Because it's the biggest market, right? So first of all, you need to decide which country. Maybe you choose Saudi Arabia, fine. Okay, or Emirates, no problem, depends on. Then you need to ask another question. Which part of the country would provide the best location to meet the requirement? Okay, where exactly in Saudi Arabia? In Tabuk or Ha'il? Why I choose Tabuk or Ha'il? Maybe because of the taxes, maybe because of the features you have from the country, right? Or the advantages. So you can decide. What about services? By the way, it's the same for services. You can actually have some this is service operation probably have a slightly different set of challenges when developing operation abroad. Large multi-site services would find it's easier if they can replicate the same type of service. Yeah, because sometimes you need to replicate your service. Outlet worldwide. In block one, you saw how this is example you need to check from block one. Aldi and Lidl have standard design for their shops to maximize efficiency. So I cannot remember this example. You can read it and you can understand the example. So actually here, if you remember, there is a sentence about services. Where is it? Here, no. No. What is it? Oh my God. Yes, here. Remember, once we talk about the home country strategy, we said actually about the product, but then said in services, the delivery is achieved using staff based at domestic operation. So in this case, if you are talking about telecommunication service, okay, or Bank al Riyadh, for example, sometimes if you call the Bank al Riyadh or Bank Samba, or I don't know, I know Bank al Riyadh. So generally, the people who will respond to you are Saudi, right? Not from Gulf, from Emirate or from Jordan or from Syria, right? So that's why you may use also the same strategy to the services. Example, once we talk about services, we talk about what, guys? About telecommunication services. We are talking about banking services, financial services, insurance services, I know, and such. Education, counseling, and such things. Okay. Ammar asked me, why today you are different? Because of this difference. 40, still 25. Oh my God. Okay.
Actually, it's more headache.
Yeah, it's a lot, right? I understand, it's a lot. Okay, but it is a lot, but it's easy, by the way. Not a big deal, but it's a lot. Yes, I agree with you, but it's easy. يعني it's not complicated actually. We cannot say this is a complicated topic, no, but a lot of slides. So that's why you feel it's maybe a lot of information. But once you read, you find out it's sometimes actually repetition to another slide. Not all the time, some slides. This reading will, okay, no, forget the reading. Understanding the global trade environment. Okay, understanding the global trade environment. We have, as you know, guys, or we are living in a global trade environment, right? So the global economy originated essentially from an increase in the worldwide flows of labor. You can have actually employees from different countries, right? You can have your products from different countries. You can even you can actually move the money, right, by the investor, okay, and the services and information as well. So this is why we have actually global trade environment, because this is actually where we live. That's a global market, you know. So, okay. They say also you need to consider in this global trade market two important things. The social networks and how these social networks actually connect the markets. Okay, social networks like, you know, different social networks. Okay, using the social media, for example, and how the social media change the way I deliver the products, I promote the products, I connect with the customers, I get information from the customers, right? And such things. So yeah, it already affects us. So it is, by the way, the social networks also actually linked to the development in the technology, right? In the technology. That's actually, we have these kind of social networks because of the technology that we are living in, right? So, okay, very any simple words, simple sentences. I don't know. I feel like there was no need to mention here. Okay. Example about how Colombia, for example, selling coffee, right? Even in Saudi market now, some retailer may say, you know what, this is the Colombian, for example, coffee, right? Or from Russia. Russia is not coffee, it's the gas, for example. Okay. Or Ethiopian coffee, right? Or Brazilian coffee, right? So yeah, already we understand
Brazilian
that.
is the best.
Brazilian. What about Arabica?
No, I don't like it.
But outside, you know, it's most expensive, right? I'm not
Actually, in the world you have.
Yes. Tell us, Ya Ammar. We are hearing. Hello? No, I cannot hear you. طيب, no problem. Maybe Ammar missed the mic. Yes, Ammar, now I can hear.
عفوا قطع الصوت. بقول
Yes.
اغلى انواع القهوه تجي برازيليه من حيوان نادر.
عيد، ما فهمتك.
اقول في البرازيل يبردون قهوه واحده من اغلى انواع القهوه البرازيليه، ياكلها حيوان وتخرج هي اصلا من طريق حيوان يعني.
Yes.
انواع القهوه في العالم.
Yes, you're right. Yes, Alhamdulillah, we don't get it. Alhamdulillah, I do have money to buy it. Alhamdulillah, because crazy, no. Anyway, there is Arabica, by the way, coffee. It's supposed to be from Arab country. I believe in Yemen, maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not expert actually about coffee, so maybe you can help me more. Coffee. So, example, just generally, Colombian coffee is actually known in the international market. And once we say gas, we say Russia, right? Once we say watches, we say what? We remember what? Switzerland, right? Once we say, yeah, Swiss, that's right, Switzerland, right? What else? What else? I forgot. Okay, we will reach, maybe I will remember later. So then actually they said once we are dealing actually with different products from different countries, we need something to govern the issue, right? Around these countries, around these companies, right? So we need system. That's why they said the global economy has also created institutions. Haha, why? To govern, to control, okay? To say what is right, what is not right, okay? What is fair, what is not fair, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, right? So that's why you have international institutions like what? The World Trade Organization, WTO. So according to the WTO, we have specific rules, right, and guidelines, and we should, as a company, need to deal with different markets and with the international market. I need to consider what their guidelines, their rules, okay? Otherwise, I will have problems, right? And fines. Right. Here they talk about the competition now. They said we have two theory, okay? The first theory is theory of absolute comparative advantage. It's about what? Okay. If a country can supply a good, any product, okay, at a cheaper price than other countries. So what's now the theory? It is better that the latter, okay, the country, okay, buy the good from the country able to supply it at a cheaper price. Example, if Saudi Arabia able, if Saudi Arabia is able to produce, for example, what the oil, okay, at a cheaper price, for example, suppose 10 real, okay, and other country actually produce the same product at 12 real. According to this rule, okay, the other country need to buy it from where? From Saudi Arabia, because already they produce it what? At a better price, right? So this is the first rule. And if a country can supply a good at a cheaper price than other countries, okay, than Emirates, than Oman, than Kuwait, whatever, it's better in this case. It's better, okay, it's proper in this case that the other countries, Oman, Kuwait, Emirates, buy the goods from where? From Saudi Arabia. Why? Because they supply it at what? Cheaper prices. Okay. Do we follow this rule all the time? No. Why? It's another situation. I will tell you why later on. Okay. If we have more chance to talk in about details. Right. Second theory. Theory of relative comparative advantage. This theory is based on the assumption that the country will tend now. Why? Tend what? To specialize in the production of specific good in which it has relative comparative advantage. Example, okay. Suppose here, okay, we have three countries, Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Oman, okay? Suppose the company, suppose we are talking about, for example, producing TV screen, okay? So according to the first rule, okay, if Saudi offered the cheapest price, we should ask Saudi, okay, or in this case, we should understand that we need to buy from Saudi market, okay? Okay, clear? Now, according to the relative comparative advantage means what? Once Saudi Saudi Arabia able to produce the screen TV, okay, at a cheaper price, maybe this means that Saudi Arabia needs to focus on the TV screen. Why? Because already have advantage. They can offer it at cheaper prices. Maybe if you have more resources in producing the TV, maybe you will have more market share, right? This is the two actually theory. Clear? Clear or not clear?
Clear.
Okay, that's it in this case. Now, why some countries have comparative advantage? Depends on sometimes that what? The sources, okay? Sources. Because sometimes you need to produce specific product, right? The first question, do you have the raw materials in the market? First thing, maybe you have it, okay, good. What about the prices or the cost of these raw materials? Okay, طيب. This is one thing you need to consider, and it's very important. Okay. By the way, there are exceptions. I will not tell you the exception because it's not about that. Nobody said to explain the exception, so keep it in general. Okay, now we need to understand and read the diamond model. Okay, diamond model according to Porter. According to this, we have structure of firms and rivalry, demand condition 2, factor condition 3, related and supporting industries 4. These actually the 4 factors. Right. What do you mean? What do you mean by diamond model? Actually, diamond model means what? According to Porter, okay, all countries are characterized by differences in national values. Yani, if I talk about Jordan and talk about Saudi Arabia, we have some similarities, right? But also we have some differences, right? If you talk about America and Saudi Arabia, okay, generally there is important difference, right? Especially in terms of the values, okay, their values, our values, their culture, our culture, right? Our language, our customs, our habits, right? Different things. Even the economic structure, maybe you find some differences, okay? Institution and histories, very clear, right? Like they said what? They said each differences in the values, in the culture, in the economy, in the institution, in the business parties, in the history, these things together can make what? The competitive success. That's why you can find some country able to do specific products with a better quality. Okay? Still here, okay? But I will give you a hint here. If you go here, okay, about advantage. So they said, like the Silicon Valley in America, it's for what? For high-tech industry, right? We know that. Clock industry, watches, it's where? In Switzerland, right? Automobile industry, where? Mainly Germany, right? Mainly, I'm saying. Once I say fashion, Italy, right? So you can find now why we have different actually advantages in different countries because of these things, because of the values, because of the culture, because of the economy, because of the institution and the history. These things make each country different, right? And this actually made each country is expert in producing specific product, right? Fine. Porter highlighted actually that the competitiveness of a country depends not only on the availability of quality of factor conditions, okay, but also, so the quality is important. Okay. 2, the demand condition. It's very important, okay? The demand condition in the country for that specific industry. Is there a demand in Saudi Arabia for a specific for the TV screen? Yes, there is demand. Very good. I told you before. Generally, companies like Saudi Arabia more. Why? Because in Saudi Arabia you can have what? More customers, right? In Saudi Arabia, generally you may find what? More demand, right? The strategies, structure, and rivalry of firms within the industry. What about actually the competing firms in Saudi Arabia? Once we talk about telecommunication, for example, we have STC, we have Zain, we have Mobile, right? Mainly. I don't know if there are more. I believe there are more, but I believe these are the main. Then you need to consider actually quality of related and supporting industries and infrastructure. Because remember, if you need to produce specific product, suppose TV screen, I'm sure you need to have some item from the local market. So you need to check, Can you have the ingredients or the raw materials in the Saudi market? Yes, I can. Very good. Yes, no, I cannot. Oh my God, it's not good. But what about the infrastructure? Maybe you can find the raw materials, okay, at cheaper prices, maybe in, for example, Somalia, okay? But maybe the infrastructure there is not good. So you may set the price of the ingredients or the raw materials very nice, but the infrastructure is not good. So you may say, no, I cannot because of the infrastructure. So you need to consider these factors, okay, in order to decide where to actually focus, in which country, for example, if I need to produce a specific item, okay? So it depends in many factors, right? So demand condition is important, the competing firms is important, the supporting industries and the infrastructure is important. So yeah, that's why it is important to consider actually the diamond model and how, as you can see, guys, each factor affecting all factors, right? So related and supporting industries and infrastructure affecting demand, right? And demand affecting this factor, and this factor affecting the structure of the firms and rivalry, and this affect the condition factor. So as you can see, it's all things affecting all things, right? Yeah, that's why it's important to check all factors, because if you have a problem in one factor, this may actually ruin the system or the business. So you need to understand the four factors. I need to understand and recognize each strength, your strength and weaknesses according to these factors, and how to deal with these problems, or how to use your strength in order to effectively satisfy your customers. Okay. Now, okay, already understand this. Okay. Now we will consider, guys, the 5 forces model. 5 forces model. We almost finished, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Oh my God. Okay. Where is, oh my God, which slide? Here, right? طيب, guys, do you want me to finish today or keep this slides for next time?
Well, it's heavy, doctor. If you think we can finish it today, fine. Otherwise, I'd rather keep it to the next class.
Because already we have time, as you can see here. We almost finish, you know.
Let's finish then.
Yeah, let's finish it today.
Oh my God. What about next week? We need to consider something. Okay. Okay, in this case, next week, we will consider your TMA, okay?
But can't we finish next week?
Hmm?
Can't we finish?
Today or next
Take
week?
the last week. No, next week. Take the
No.
14th.
No. Next week, it's about TMA, inshallah. I will just open your TMA and I will try to answer your question. Just to show you what's the right and what's the wrong. Maybe next time I will do it, TMA. Okay, let's do it for today, this one, no problem. So we have here the 5 forces model. It's about Porter. This is the 5 factors: the supplier, substitutes, buyers, potential entrants, and what the company that compete with you. Okay, first one, or before the first one, this is the 5 factors, right? Again, so direct industry competitors. Once I say this is the companies that actually compete with you in the market, right? This first factor. So direct industry competitors, they are firms that offer the same type of product in the market, like what? Pepsi and Coca-Cola, right? Mara'i and Nadik, right? STC and Zain, right? Right. Come here. Suppliers, those firms from which business organization purchase all the materials, raw materials, and semi-finished products needed needed to carry out the production processes and to offer the services. Okay. Suppose you are talking about Lay's company, okay? Lay's company producing what? Chips, right? So they need to depend on what? Suppliers. Suppliers of what, Dr. Ahmed? Okay. Suppliers for the packaging, suppliers for potato, right? So you know different suppliers, right? So you need to have specific suppliers, okay, in order to get, for example, the potato, right, that you need to use in producing the chips, maybe, right? Or maybe and not only the potato, any other item or ingredients, okay, the salt, whatever, okay, the packaging, the machines, so whatever, okay, we call them suppliers. Why? Because they supply you what? With the items that you need to produce the product, okay? Then we have the buyers, customers that buy your product. We call them customers or buyers. Potential entrants. Now, suppose you are here, ya Ammar, okay, and you have falafel restaurant. Yalla, back to falafel. How can I not to bring falafel? So suppose you have a falafel restaurant here, okay, and alhamdulillah, ya Ammar, your restaurant is successful and selling a lot, okay? You know what people now will think of first? Oh my God, there is a restaurant of falafel in this street and many customers buy from. You know what? Let me enter the market. Let me open another falafel restaurant in the same street, right? So this is potential entrance. Why another person want to open here? Because there is profit here. Ammar is getting money, you know. We will talk more in details about this. Okay. Substitute goods and services, the goods and services that in a different way can meet the same customer needs served by a given business organization. Who can give me example? Yalla. I will count to 5. If you are able to say example, very fine. If you are not, I will give you example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my God, nobody. Okay. Suppose, yeah, guys, substitute. Okay. Suppose you are hungry. Okay. And Ammar said, I am thinking of pizza. Okay. Then I told him, Ammar, pizza, man, you are hungry and pizza. You know what? It's have مضغوط. Now, pizza and مضغوط is different, right? But at the end, it's what? It's a food, right? So if you are hungry, you may have pizza or you may have what? مضغوط. It's different items, right? Totally different. It's a food, but different ingredients, right? So that's the substitute, okay? What else? If you need to reach Riyadh, okay? Suppose you are in Dammam, okay? And you want to go to Riyadh. How would you go to Riyadh? Yalla, answer me. How would you go to Riyadh from Dammam? Give me option. Give me substitute.
Train, car, plane.
Okay, mashallah. What's your name, ya Ammar ولا Ashraf?
Ashraf.
Ashraf. Yes, Ashraf, give us 3 substitutes. You can have your car, you can use your car, or you can have a taxi, second option, or you can have the train, third option, or you can have what? The plane for option number 4, right? So it's about you, which one you want. If you want cheaper price, maybe you need to take the train, right? If you need actually a fast way, maybe you need to take fast way. Generally, it's the plane, but it depends on if you cannot find any convenient flight. Maybe it's not the fastest, right? But as a tool or as a actually vehicle, for sure the plane is the fastest, right? One. So this is actually the 5 factors. Now they talk about each one, I think. So they said these factors are considered important because if you study any business in terms of these factors, you will be able to understand the market very well, right? So the analysis of these factors will help you as a company in order to understand and recognize what the competitive position in the market. So you will understand if you are strong in the country in the market, or you are weak in the market, according to the what to understand these 5 factors. Okay. Then they explain one by one. This is first the supplier, the company that would give you the items or the raw materials. So here you need to consider the role of suppliers is to evaluate the mutual relationship of power between the business or the company and its suppliers. So you need to understand the relationship between them and how you need to depend on each other. Now they said here some elements like what? Like the brand reputation of the supplier, geographical coverage, they can serve you or not, product and service quality of the supplier. So why would you choose Zain or Mobile or STC for your company? Why would you choose these companies or one of these companies to offer you the internet? Maybe you can tell me price. Okay, you can consider the price. Maybe you need to say, doctor, what about quality? Yeah, I need to consider the quality and the coverage. Maybe Zain is able to cover some, let's say, remote area city, okay? But maybe Mobile cannot, for example, right? So yeah, you need to check different factors that you need to be aware in order to choose a specific supplier, okay? Okay, maybe the price of Zain is very good, but Zain is not able to cover your area. So you need to go with Mobile in this case, right? For example. Also analyzing the bargaining power. Sometimes there are strong suppliers, okay? Because they are big and they are strong and they are controlling the market, they can tell you this is the price. And you need to take it, right? Take it or leave it because they are strong enough in the market, okay? So analyzing the bargaining power of suppliers means considering issues such as pricing power, existence or not of the agreement among suppliers in order to control the market. Sometimes the suppliers, they have some coordination in order to control the market, which is we don't like, right? Or actually the size of the supplier, small, so you can control. Big, he will control you, right? What about substitute? If I don't like company A, can I have my product from company B? Yes, I can. Okay, more option now. No, I cannot. So I don't have option. So I will take it to leave it again. So this is about the suppliers, okay, and how it's important to study your suppliers well in terms of quality, in terms of size, in terms of power, in terms of relationship, in terms of services, in terms of price, and such things. Competitors, very important. You need to understand your competitor in the market. Now, Hyper Panda, Alofame, Tamimi, try to study each other, right? In order to give the best campaign, in order to attract you, okay? I don't need you to go to Hyper Panda if I am with him. I need to come to me. So how can I make you come to me, for example? So this is the industry competitors. The analysis of the industry competitors can concern many different aspects. For example, the market shares of different firms that can inform us about the degree of concentration. Now, how to know your market share? Very easy. You need to consider the total, the percentage of the total value of total revenue of a firm against the total revenue of all firms in the industry. Okay. So if the total revenue is 1 million for the industry and your revenue is 1,000, so you need to divide, right? 1,000 by 1 million. You will understand your market share, right? So it's important to understand your competitors in the market in order to deal with them effectively. Bargaining power of buyers. Now, your customers. So for example, if a given business organization has only one big customer, okay? Suppose, ya Ammar, you are producing honey, okay? Honey, forget honey. Suppose you produce, what, ya Allah? Who can give an example about anything?
Vegetables or milk?
Milk. Okay. Suppose you are actually you are selling milk to only to Hyperbenda, okay, or to only to Tamimi. Is it good or bad?
It's bad.
Why?
I should have more point of sale.
Yes. Why? But why one is bad? Because if any problem happens to that company or to that customer, this means your sales will totally influenced, right? That's why you need to sell to Tamimi and to Hyperbenda and to different stores. Because if one store has a problem, you don't have a problem. You can handle because you have different customers, more customers, right? Wider customers. Okay. So if a given business organization has only one big customer, its economic performance will be very much related to the choices and performances of this big customer. And if anything happened to this, for example, if this customer changed their decision and switch to another company, this means you can sell nothing, right? So it's a risky, actually, decision. You need to have more customers in the market. A new entrance, I told you about new entrance. Actually, sometimes you open a business and alhamdulillah, you have a good results, financial results. Then this will actually seduce and attract other companies to come and to open also business. So this actually considered important factor in opening any business. Especially once we talk about businesses that needs little money, okay? But there is something here. If you want to operate in industries like telecommunication, okay, or automotives, okay, you may need what? Little money? You need a lot of money, right? You need a huge capital, right? And this is where you understand that you cannot find many telecommunication company in Saudi Arabia, right? Why? Because it's expensive. Not anyone can have a telecommunication company, right? Or a company to produce a car. It needs a lot of what? Capital. That's why little actually competitors you may find in that market, for example. Finally, I think this is the substitute. Already you understand. Already I give you example about that. Air and rail. I told you how to go to Riyadh from Dammam. So it is by air, is it by rail, is it by taxi, whatever. So this is the substitute. Different actually ways you can use in order to satisfy your need, which is to reach Dammam, to reach Riyadh, for example. So this is what we call substitute. Okay, you can have the plane, you can have the train, you can have the taxi, or you can have your car, right? And you can travel. So this is, guys, the chapter today. I know it's a little bit include a lot of information. You might feel like you are overloaded. I agree with you. But what can I say? We have done it, alhamdulillah. But as I told you, the first 10 slides just talking about tennis ball and how it's important to consider different countries that you need to use in order to produce your product. And then we talk about model, input, process, output. Then the 4 stages we discuss. Then I think the 4 strategies. Then actually we talk about the Porter model. Before the Porter model, we talk about the diamond, right? Where is it? Diamond, Mr. Diamond. Here, diamond model. Okay, 4 factors. Then we consider the 5, alhamdulillah, because 4, 4, 4. 5 factors according to the Porter model. This is very important, by the way. Very important. Like I have feeling about this question. Maybe they will have it in the final, I don't know. But it's very important, I feel. Hi. That's it today, guys. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your participation. I'm so sorry because today I wasn't funny a lot because we need to finish the course. How many students we have? We have 22. Okay. We have 20. I believe the number was more, right? Okay. Guys, I need to tell you something, okay? How many times, ya Ammar, I told you not to copy and paste without a change? Ammar, Ashraf,
Yes,
How
a lot
many?
of time.
Yeah, okay, very nice. So I told you
دكتور